Hello, Year Six. My name is Mrs. Kerry Morris. I'm the principal at St John's College, and I'm just going to share with you some photos of what life is like at St John's College. And unfortunately, I can't come to visit at this very strange time and speak with you all, which is what I normally do. So I'm going to move through with you now just some of the um, exciting things that is on offer here at St John's College for Year 7. So moving through, firstly, this is our library. Our library consists of a senior section and a junior section. And in the junior area, there's lots of computer opportunities in there, and you'll be having library lessons during English. So you'll be visiting the library at a number of times a week in English. This is our beautiful senior captains, our student leadership team. And there you'll have our school captains, our vice captains, and some SRC captains, that's Student Representative Council captains, just like you have prefects and captains in primary school. Here we are again, walking out front of the school, looking very happy. This was taken early this year when they were first actually received their badges. Here they are again, looking fresh. We were going to bring a couple of captains over to the primary schools to meet you in person, but again, that hasn't been possible. And that's our actual school captains, James Joseph and Maddie Burden. They are wonderful, wonderful leaders for 2020. Again, these are what we call our ministry captains that help with liturgies and masses throughout the year. And the opportunity for leadership, even in Year 7, is as SRC captains, we have 4 from Year 7, so there's opportunity there for leadership. And just like in primary school, we have sporting houses. We have 4, and this one is Lennon. Determination, fairness, and respect. So that's one of the gardens, and each of the houses throughout the college have their own garden. Here's LaSalle with the LaSalle captains, Moore with our LaSalle captains, and Macaulay. So there are 4 sporting houses. And we also have Learning Plus twice a week, and that's divided according to the houses. And it's a time where students can do their own independent learning. We also have interventions taking place for students that need extra help. Here's a couple of industrious Year 7 students working in the classroom. Another young gentleman. And the subjects obviously are divided up, and you'll have a number of different subjects. Computers, you use Chromebooks, I'm sure, in the primary school. We continue to use Chromebooks at college, so you will have no worries about understanding how to use the different platforms that we allocate to Year 7. One of the subjects you'll be doing is science and the opportunity to do practical experiments. Here's a couple of young Year 7 scientists at work and some more. Obviously, you're under supervision and you work at the bays, but you'll be taught how to use Bunsen burners and the different chemicals and what you have to do in scientific research. So that will be really exciting. This is our current Year 7 at an assembly when they first arrived in our sports centre. Because we have so many students having assemblies at the same time, the hall was being used by Year 12, I think, at the time. So there they all are. We usually have about 190 students in Year 7 to start, 8 classes, so less than 25 in a class. So it's last few years, I think there's 188 at the moment. So we like to keep it at that level because we don't like too many in each class. Technology. One of the exciting things in Year 7 is going to be doing technology lessons each term, and this is food technology. You'll be able to go home and cook beautiful, beautiful meals with your family. Each term you do a different technology. There they are again. Looks like some nice pasta dishes being prepared. The other technology is textiles technology, and this year they have made pyjama pants. Some of the boys are very, very popular and very proud of what they've produced. It's great. Here's some of the girls with very different patterns. The Paris theme there. They're beautiful. There's some more, the boys with theirs. So you'll be able to master a sewing machine, be able to help out at home. I'm sure mum and dad will be really pleased. The other technology that you look at is agricultural technology. And as an extracurricular activity, if you're interested, we have a livestock exhibition team. And they attend Sydney Royal, they go to Brisbane and also Canberra. So it's also a very exciting time in Year 7, because that's when you start to get training on how to use and work with the cattle, and that's something you'll be doing if you're involved in that, washing them down and painting their hooves and blow drying them, getting them really beautified to go to the different shows. But that's extracurricular. You'll also be involved with the stock just in agriculture, growing veggies. I'm very proud Year 7s from last year looking at what they've produced. And we have a number of different chickens here as well, and guinea fowl. And collecting eggs, we have a little business going where the eggs are collected and sold to the staff from all the different breeds of chickens that we have here. The other area is in the industrial tech and metal, and you'll be doing some industrial tech. This is actually the senior Rana Trade Training Centre, and this is in the metalwork department of that. And this is one of our senior students from last year at work on their project. So that's exciting as well, and something you can work towards into the senior years in the vocational and educational training. Creative arts, obviously in Year 7, music and art are compulsory. Again, they're an elective you can do later in your courses in 9 and 10. And here we have some people in art, and the other area is music. Now, within music, also an extracurricular activity is to be a member of one of our ensembles or bands. That's our string ensemble. And we also have a big band with many of the brass instruments. And in Year 8 and in Year 7, they learn the guitar as part of the music curriculum. And this is some of our seniors in the major concert band, which we also have a large concert band with all different year levels involved in that. As well, they were learning some new drumming techniques in this particular class, and it looks like it's in our drama room. Now, speaking of drama, every second year we try to put on a major musical, and this is one of our last musicals that we were performing in our hall. So that's the opportunity as a Year 7 student to become involved in that as well. Close-up of some of our performers. That's our current school captain there in the front, Maddie. The other mandatory course is languages, and we have 2 languages at the college. One's French, one's Japanese. This is our French class with our French teacher, and she is actually a French lady and very, very talented, and we have French that moves right through into Year 12. Last year had some very great results in the HSC in French. So the opportunity is once you taste a little bit of the language in Year 7, you have the opportunity in 9, 10, 11 and 12 to continue your study in language. We also have our own computer room just dedicated to the languages, where they look at Language Perfect and do some of their other practical language exercises in their computer room, which is right next door to Mrs. Strayhorn's classroom. And there's some of the French displays that they created, because they also look at the culture of the language and the countries that they're studying as well. So in Japanese, they look at the culture of Japan, and obviously for French, they look very closely at France. Sport, big part of college culture at St John's. And this is one of the senior basketball team getting some tips from the coach at one of the breaks in their games. Been very popular and also very successful, the senior basketball, and we travel to combined Catholic colleges to compete in the basketball in Sydney, in different parts of New South Wales. Here's our league tag girls, so I think it's league tag, running on, or it could be the rugby union side. We also have a girls rugby union side. This is the league tag side. So the opportunities for sport are immense for both girls and boys coming into the college. Yes, this is the boys rugby side standing up after the game by the look of it. And soccer, very popular, both for boys and girls. This is a shot of the grandstand at our athletics carnival. Most of the people are out competing, so you can see our four houses with Macaulay, Moore, LaSalle and Lennon in our colours. There's a couple of the seniors competing in their sprinting. Our swimming carnival, all our junior students, and there again we have our houses set up in the grandstand with Moore, LaSalle, Lennon, Macaulay. The library, as I mentioned earlier, has a junior section. This is the junior section of the library. Students here sometimes just at lunch and recess like to come in, read, and sometimes they have the opportunity to play board games. This is the computer section in the library, access to many computers. We also in history run a big project that the parents are able to come in and observe them in action, and this looks like a volcanic eruption being demonstrated here, and we invite all the parents to come in and view the projects. So it's quite large. We've got 190 Year 7s, each with their own project on display, and this is in our senior and junior section of the library. As I said earlier, some of the games they like to play, but in this particular case, we also have a chess club and we compete against other schools, and we've been very successful. We've had one against MAGS, a competition, and one with South Campus, and I think from memory this year we've been successful in both. But the opportunity there is there to be part of that, or simply to have a game of chess if you wish at lunchtime and recess in the library. Here's some girls playing Monopoly. And jigsaw is quite exciting too. And after this period of isolation, I'm sure a lot of families have been getting involved with jigsaws. Another culture of our school is our retreat program. All year groups have retreats. Year 7 have a one-day retreat, and we had this out at Rhino Lodge this year as the first time using this venue, and it was really successful. So here they all are gathered in the main hall there to start their retreat. The retreat is a time to build connections within the year group, their friendships, because we've got about 12 or 13 different schools that come across into Year 7 at the college, like the time to build community as a whole cohort. And they also have a mass together, they have games and a barbecue lunch. Here's some of the games and discussion groups that are going on. And what's exciting too for the Year 7 retreat is we use the peer support leaders in Year 11 as some of the instructors during that. So it's building that relationship with Year 7 and Year 11 because they're trained as peer support leaders to work with the Year 7 cohort. Just like you have buddies, I'm sure you've been a buddy to somebody in kindergarten in your primary schools. There's a bunch of the Year 7 boys at one of the lunch breaks. And the girls looking quite happy on the day. It was a beautiful day weather-wise as well. We also have an annual awards evening. That's Mr. Gay there, who's the Year 7 coordinator, and each of the year coordinators present the awards to their own year group. And this was the awards evening this year, and the Year 7s that received the awards. And here's our top achievers for Year 7 who received their certificates. And we do that at the Regional Theatre. As I said, extracurricular activities, there is bands, and I didn't mention our marching band, which we tend to march at Anzac Day. And this was last year. Of course, Anzac Day didn't happen as far as the march this year. which was disappointing because we were getting prepared for that. But this was last year, and you can see our current school captain there, James, as part of that band, and a number of junior students that also play in the band. This was a visit with a reptile display for science, which was rather interesting creature. So the opportunity to actually get friendly with some snakes on that day. And we also celebrate NAIDOC Week in the college with different cultural activities, and this was one of the displays from last year that we used. And the students were able to look very carefully at some of these instruments that are used by the Aboriginal people, particularly the Wiradjuri people of our area. Here's our AEW making Johnny cakes on that day as well with some of our students. This was another sporting visit we had where they had games, and this is part of the same celebration of the Aboriginal Games. We have a step-up program in Year 8, which the students are invited to be part of, and they really enjoy. They go on a trek at the end of the step-up program around over the Blue Mountains, which is really a challenge, and it's a challenging program for the gentlemen that were involved in it this year. Here they are here at the presentation night when we were going through exactly looking at photos of their trip with their parents. Each year we have an induction day for Year 7, and again we have the senior students that work with the students, and what they get to do, the Year 6s, when they come up to the college, they actually go into classes and experience what it's like within a class. And here's our science coordinator, Mr. Sunny, going through some experiments that they may be using when they actually visit in Year 7. Here we are in the art room, having a look at some of the drawings and some of the art curriculum that they'll be exposed to. Sports, as I said, is a big part of that. And see these senior students, they're out there, there are Year 12 students at that time working and working with those students and showing them the environment of the school. Year 7 particularly enjoy all the handball. You can see the handball courts all around there in the playground. They are often using those handball courts. Some of the music lessons they were experimenting with on their visit. And so that's probably the end of my photos. There's probably many questions that you have of me in relation to the school. We'll be offering some more induction days coming forward. We've got an information evening too later in the year. But when all this settles down, perhaps Mr. Gay and myself will be able to come across and visit you all at your school before next year, before 2021. Okay, Year 6, I hope you enjoyed this presentation. The application form should have been sent directly to your parents, so we look forward to visiting you. We look forward to you visiting us for the remainder of this year as we move towards starting Year 7 for 2021. All the very best.